Stop for a moment and listen. The world around you has been speaking in whispers, in moments too small to notice. Today, something long awaited is finally arriving. A message that has been quietly waiting for you, patiently, until the moment was right. Not everyone receives it. Only those who are ready can hear its truth. And readiness is rare. It is not about knowledge or skill, but about presence, clarity, and the courage to face what has been hidden within. For years, many have walked unaware of the signs guiding their path. Ancient Shaolin teachings remind us that every shift, every quiet nudge of the soul is preparation for awakening. The timing of this message is no accident. There are energies at work that most will overlook, events unfolding quietly that carry lessons far beyond the surface of daily life. By the end of this video, you will understand these forces, see the patterns that shape your life, and learn how to align with the wisdom that has always been reaching out to you. You will discover principles rooted in stillness, discipline, and mindful awareness. You will explore the courage needed to face inner truths, the power of detachment, and the way personal mastery transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary opportunities. This is not a simple message. It is a call to step deeper into your life with clarity and purpose, to recognize the subtle guidance that has been waiting for this exact moment. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire, a place where ancient wisdom meets the quiet strength within you. Here, every insight is a spark, every reflection a step closer to mastery. Stay with me until the end. Subscribe now and prepare to receive a message that has been centuries in the making. This is your awakening. There is a space within you that speaks only when the world falls silent. In the quiet, in the stillness, the noise of thoughts and distractions fades, and the truth begins to emerge. Shaolin masters have long taught that the body, the mind, and the spirit must learn to pause, to rest in deliberate calm. Without this pause, the messages meant for your soul slip by unnoticed, lost in the chaos of daily life. Every day, life pulls at you in 1,000 directions, tasks, worries, fleeting desires. Amid this storm, insight becomes invisible. Yet when you practice stillness, even for a few breaths, a doorway opens. In that doorway, guidance waits. It may come as a feeling, a thought, a sudden clarity, or a quiet knowing that stirs the heart. The Shaolin call it Wu Wei of awareness, action to attunement, movement born from deep calm rather than frantic effort. Stillness is not emptiness. It is presence, a sacred space where the soul can speak, where the mind can listen without interference. In this space, the layers of distraction peel away, and patterns that once seemed invisible become clear. You begin to notice the subtle rhythms of life, the signs that point to what matters most. A pause, a slow breath, a mindful heartbeat. These are the instruments through which divine guidance moves. The world may insist that speed and noise define progress, but wisdom flows quietly, patiently. It waits for those who will stop long enough to hear it. The Shaolin path teaches that mastery begins not with movement, but with the power to be still. In stillness, your senses sharpen, your mind clears, and the messages that have been reaching for you finally arrive, gentle yet undeniable, illuminating the path ahead with quiet certainty. There are moments that pass unnoticed, slipping through the cracks of attention, yet they carry the weight of meaning if only we pause to see. Life is composed of these small threads, subtle gestures, fleeting emotions, patterns that repeat in silence. Mindful awareness trains the mind to recognize them, to hold them gently without judgment, and to understand the messages woven into the ordinary. In ancient Shaolin practice, every movement, every breath is observed with total presence. A step, a breath, the rustle of leaves, all become teachers when approached with attention. This is not mere observation, but a disciplined art of noticing. It is an inner mastery cultivated over time, where the mind stops wandering and the heart begins to perceive. Through mindfulness, even the smallest signal, a feeling of unease, a sudden thought, a recurring coincidence, can reveal truths that guide action and reveal purpose. Ordinary life often masks the extraordinary. Patterns of behavior, repeated opportunities, subtle emotional cues, these are the footprints of the unseen guiding hand. By practicing awareness, one sharpens perception, uncovering layers of insight hidden beneath the surface. It is a quiet vigilance, a daily refinement that allows the mind to read between the lines of experience. Discipline in this practice is essential. The mind, left unchecked, drifts into distraction, missing the whispers of guidance that appear in silence. Yet with patience, attention becomes natural. Awareness turns routine acts into meditation. The act of washing hands, walking or sitting in stillness transforms into a mirror reflecting inner truths. Through mindful awareness, the world becomes alive with meaning. Each moment, however small, holds the potential to reveal a path previously unseen. Ancient wisdom teaches that the present is the doorway to clarity. By grounding ourselves fully in it, the ordinary reveals the extraordinary, and the quiet voice of guidance becomes unmistakable. There is a rhythm to life that cannot be rushed. Every change, every revelation, every step toward growth unfolds according to its own timing. Impatience only clouds perception, scattering energy and blurring the path ahead. The law of patience reminds us that the universe, or the divine, moves with precision beyond the grasp of the hurried mind. What is meant to arrive will come, not a moment earlier, not a moment later, and understanding this is a cornerstone of inner mastery. In Shaolin philosophy, energy is never forced. A master may summon immense power, yet it flows with steadiness like water tracing its course along a riverbed. If pushed too quickly, it splashes, dissipates, and loses its potency. The same principle applies to life. The cultivation of skill, wisdom, and spiritual insight cannot be hurried. Growth requires patience, discipline, and the willingness to allow forces to unfold naturally. This is not passive waiting, but active alignment. To wait is not to stop, but to prepare, to strengthen the mind, to refine the body, and to steady the spirit. Every moment of preparation accumulates, shaping the moment when the flow finally arrives. A seed buried in the earth does not demand sunlight. It reaches toward it with quiet persistence. So too must human effort align with the currents of timing, trusting that persistence, when guided by discipline and awareness, will meet opportunity at its appointed hour. Those who rush often miss subtle cues, overlook essential lessons, and fracture the energy that could have been used to manifest something profound. Patience, practiced with mindfulness, cultivates a harmony between action and the natural order. Through this understanding, one learns to navigate life not with force, but with flow, allowing the most powerful energies to rise steadily, fully, and without obstruction. The art of timing, quietly observed, becomes a mirror of mastery itself. The journey inward often begins with a single quiet act, watching oneself. To truly know the mind is to observe it without interference, without judgment. Thoughts arise like clouds across the sky, some dark, some light, all passing. Emotions stir like wind across the surface of a still lake. When attention turns inward, these movements are no longer distractions, but messages, revealing hidden obstacles that shape behavior, decisions, and perception. In Shaolin practice, self-observation is a form of meditation in motion. Every action, every breath, every fleeting thought becomes a mirror reflecting the state of the mind. A master does not resist what arises within, but witnesses it with clarity and discipline. This is the essence of personal mastery, the ability to recognize patterns of fear, doubt, or attachment before they dictate behavior. Awareness transforms reaction into choice, chaos into calm. Emotions and thoughts, when observed without judgment, begin to lose their power to control. Anger is seen as energy, impatience as a signal, doubt as a lesson. By simply noticing, the mind aligns itself with higher guidance, with the quiet voice that whispers truth. Each moment of awareness is a step toward freedom, the freedom to act not from habit but from insight. This practice requires patience and courage. The mind resists at first, clinging to familiar narratives. Yet with daily observation, a rhythm emerges. One begins to sense the subtle currents of intention beneath the surface of life, recognizing when impulses are aligned with purpose and when they are distractions. Through consistent self-observation, discipline becomes natural, The internal landscape, once turbulent and hidden, is mapped with clarity. The energy that once scattered is now directed. Personal mastery is not a distant goal. It is the quiet, persistent practice of watching, understanding, and guiding oneself. In this mirror of the mind, true wisdom begins to take shape. There are truths within that hide in the shadows, tucked beneath layers of comfort, denial, and habit. They are not loud or violent. They are subtle, persistent, and often uncomfortable. To walk the path of inner mastery, one must find the courage to face these hidden truths. It is a quiet bravery, not the clamor of heroics, but the steady resolve to look clearly at what lies within, even when it unsettles the mind or stirs the heart. Shaolin teachings remind us that the greatest battles are not fought outside but inside. The mind constructs stories, clings to illusions, and defends old beliefs that no longer serve growth. To see oneself honestly requires discipline, patience, and the willingness to surrender comfort. Each layer peeled away reveals deeper awareness, yet it also challenges identity, ego, and long-held convictions. True courage is moving forward despite the discomfort, recognizing that growth waits on the other side of fear. Facing hidden truths is not a one-time act, it is a practice. Every emotion of resistance, every moment of defensiveness is an opportunity to turn inward and observe. Patterns of avoidance, self-doubt, and projection appear like tests, urging vigilance and honesty. To acknowledge them without judgment is to disarm them, to reclaim power that was quietly surrendered to fear. This process is transformative. As the mind and heart confront what has been hidden, clarity emerges. Decisions become aligned, intentions sharpen, and actions flow from awareness rather than reaction. Spiritual growth is never convenient. It asks for honesty in the face of discomfort and the courage to release illusions. The path of courage is also the path of freedom. By facing what has been buried, discipline strengthens, wisdom deepens, and the soul moves closer to its true potential. Each truth faced, no matter how painful, becomes a stepping stone toward mastery, revealing the quiet power that has always been waiting within. Discipline is often misunderstood as limitation, a set of rules that binds the spirit. Yet in the practice of ancient wisdom, it is the opposite, a gateway to freedom. Through consistent habits, meditation, reflection, or deliberate action, the mind and body learn to align with higher purpose. Discipline becomes the bridge between intention and manifestation, shaping energy so that thought transforms into reality. Every day presents countless distractions, yet those who cultivate inner mastery understand the quiet power of routine. The early hours of meditation, the pause to reflect on choices, the mindful attention to each act, these are not burdens, but invitations to harmony. Shaolin masters speak of the body and mind as instruments. Discipline tunes them, allowing the resonance of purpose to flow freely. Without it, intention remains scattered, energy diffused, and potential unrealized. Discipline is a form of respect. Respect for the self, for the path, and for the forces guiding life. Each small action, repeated with care, is an acknowledgement that the higher purpose exists and deserves attention. Even seemingly ordinary practices carry weight when performed with focus and consistency. The repetition itself becomes a meditation, each cycle deepening awareness, strengthening will, and refining character. This is not rigidity, but fluidity within structure. Discipline creates the space in which clarity can emerge. It trains the mind to remain present, the heart to remain steady, and the spirit to remain aligned. Over time, what began as effort transforms into natural expression. The energy that once scattered under distraction now channels toward manifestation. Through disciplined practice, spiritual alignment becomes a lived experience. Thoughts, emotions, and actions harmonize. The bridge between desire and realization is crossed not through force, but through consistent, mindful cultivation. In this rhythm, the ordinary becomes sacred, and life unfolds with precision, purpose, and quiet power. True mastery arises not from strength alone, nor from knowledge alone, but from the harmonious integration of mind, body, and spirit. Each aspect of being carries its own wisdom, and when they move in unison, clarity, and receptivity naturally emerge. Shaolin philosophy teaches that the body is the temple of the spirit. To honor the body is to honor the mind and soul. Neglect one and the flow of insight is blocked. Cultivate all, and the currents of awareness rise freely. Mental clarity provides direction. When the mind is still, focused, and disciplined, it becomes a lens through which truth is perceived. Thoughts no longer scatter like wind-blown leaves, but settle into patterns that illuminate the path forward. Emotional balance offers stability. Feelings, when observed and understood, no longer dominate the inner landscape but become guides, signaling when alignment is present and when attention is needed. Physical presence grounds awareness. The breath, posture, and movement of the body are conduits for energy, connecting inner insight with the tangible world. Integration is a practice of deliberate attention. Shaolin training emphasizes that meditation alone is not enough, nor is rigorous physical exercise sufficient. Only when both are practiced together and accompanied by emotional mindfulness does true receptivity arise. The body becomes sensitive to subtle energies, the mind attuned to patterns, and the spirit open to guidance that is otherwise invisible. This integration transforms daily life into an ongoing act of alignment. Every step, every gesture, every thought becomes a reflection of inner harmony. Disconnection dissolves and a quiet power emerges, the power to perceive, understand, and act from a place of wholeness. In this state, divine messages, long unnoticed in the noise of imbalance, are received with clarity and calm. The union of mind, body, and spirit is the foundation of mastery, the gateway through which wisdom moves effortlessly into life. True freedom emerges when effort is wholehearted, yet the outcome is left in the hands of forces beyond control. Detachment does not mean apathy or passivity. It is the subtle art of engaging fully in the present while releasing the need to shape results according to expectation. The mind, when grasping too tightly, becomes rigid and restless. By letting go of attachment, clarity returns, and the energy that once fueled anxiety is transformed into presence and insight. Shaolin philosophy often speaks of action without clinging, of movement flowing naturally, without forcing a specific destination. A martial artist strikes with precision, yet does not obsess over victory. A student practices diligently, yet does not demand immediate mastery. In both, the act itself becomes sacred. Detachment allows the practitioner to remain open, sensitive to the nuances of each moment, and responsive rather than reactive. Life mirrors this principle. Plans shift, outcomes diverge, and expectations falter. When attachment is strong, disappointment and frustration arise, clouding judgment and obscuring guidance. But when the mind is steady, anchored in the process rather than the result, every moment offers insight. Opportunities appear, intuition speaks, and even unexpected challenges carry lessons that were invisible to a grasping mind. Detachment requires discipline. It demands continual practice, reminding oneself that effort and surrender are not opposites, but companions. One can act decisively, pursue goals with dedication, and yet remain unattached, trusting the larger currents of life. In this balance, action becomes precise, decisions become wise, and the heart remains calm regardless of outcome. Through surrendering attachment while staying fully engaged, a space is created where guidance flows freely. The mind clears of resistance, the spirit moves with subtlety, and the path unfolds with a quiet inevitability. Detachment is not withdrawal, it is mastery of presence, a door to clarity, and the key to navigating life with grace. There is a voice within that speaks softly yet persistently, guiding those who pause to listen. It is not loud, not demanding, and it rarely arrives with certainty or fanfare. This is the voice of higher intuition, the quiet current beneath the surface of thought. Distinguishing it from the chatter of the ego requires patience, discipline, and a practiced attentiveness to one's inner landscape. Ego-driven thoughts are often urgent, restless, and self-centered. They demand attention, justify themselves, and thrive on fear or desire. The inner voice, in contrast, is calm, clear, and steady. It does not shout, but it nudges, offering insights that align with deeper truth. Like the Shaolin student learning to move with precision, one must learn to recognize the difference between the noise of the mind and the subtle guidance that emanates from stillness and awareness. The voice of guidance often appears in ordinary moments, a lingering feeling, a subtle intuition, a sense of certainty that cannot be explained by logic. It may arise as hesitation before a choice, a pull toward an action, or a quiet realization that shifts perspective. Those who cultivate mindfulness and self-observation become attuned to these signals, noticing patterns and insights that are otherwise overlooked. Listening deeply requires discipline. It asks for pauses in thought, moments of stillness and reflection upon feelings and impulses. Over time, the practice strengthens the connection to this inner wisdom, sharpening discernment and deepening trust in one's own guidance. Through attentive listening, decisions become clearer, actions more aligned, and life unfolds with a subtle harmony. The inner voice becomes a compass, the quiet guide that navigates through uncertainty, revealing the path not dictated by fear or desire, but by alignment with higher truth. It is in these whispers that true mastery and insight are discovered. Wisdom remains incomplete until it is lived. Insight alone, no matter how profound, is like a seed held in the hand. Its potential cannot unfold without action. Ancient Shaolin teachings emphasize that understanding must translate into practice. The mind can perceive, the heart can feel, but it is through deliberate, mindful action that spiritual truths manifest in the world. Action guided by wisdom requires courage. It asks for the willingness to step beyond comfort, to move when the path is uncertain, and to uphold truth even when the world resists. Like a master in training, one learns to act with precision, patience, and awareness, channeling knowledge into behavior that reflects clarity of mind and integrity of spirit. Each choice becomes a reflection of inner alignment, a bridge between understanding and lived experience. Compassion is the second pillar of embodied wisdom. Actions born of insight carry the weight of empathy and care. They acknowledge the interconnectedness of all life and the subtle influence of every gesture, word, and decision. In Shaolin philosophy, mastery is not only self-mastery, but also the skillful navigation of one's presence within the greater whole. Actions guided by compassion transform ordinary deeds into expressions of higher purpose. Mindfulness completes the triad. To act with wisdom is to remain fully present, attentive to the moment, and sensitive to the unfolding consequences of each step. It is the discipline of observing and responding rather than reacting blindly to impulse or habit. When courage, compassion, and mindfulness converge, spiritual messages cease to be abstract ideas. They become living truths, expressed in the world through deeds that carry both intention and integrity. Insight moves from thought to embodiment, and the teachings once studied in silence now resonate in every movement, every choice, and every interaction. In this way, wisdom finds its ultimate form, not in knowing alone, but in the art of living fully, consciously, and aligned. The message you have been waiting for has arrived, not by chance, but at the precise moment when your mind, heart, and spirit are ready to receive it. Throughout this journey, we have explored the quiet power of stillness, the guiding strength of discipline, the clarity of mindful awareness, the courage to face hidden truths, and the harmony of integrating mind, body, and spirit. Each principle is a key, unlocking the wisdom that has always resided within you. Spiritual insight becomes real when it moves from understanding to action. When you cultivate patience, remain present, and practice personal mastery in daily life, the guidance you receive begins to shape your choices, your relationships, and your path forward. Challenges become lessons, small moments reveal deeper meaning, and your energy flows in alignment with purpose. Embrace this practice as a lifelong journey. Each day offers an opportunity to pause, observe, and act with clarity and intention. Trust the quiet guidance within. Nurture discipline without rigidity, courage without recklessness, and awareness without judgment. In doing so, the wisdom that has long awaited your readiness becomes a living force, transforming ordinary moments into extraordinary steps toward mastery. Let this be your invitation to step fully into your life with calm, focus, and intention. Allow each breath, each thought, and each action to reflect the harmony of mind, body, and spirit. If this message resonates, join us on this path of discovery. Like this video, subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, and continue exploring the teachings that illuminate the journey toward inner clarity and purposeful living. May peace guide you, and may your path unfold with quiet certainty.